are back with comedian David Boyle, and I'm quitting alcohol. So I went down to the studio today to record my other podcast. The studio, the fucking studio that I've been paying for the last 14 months that we've managed to do about 6 fucking podcasts out of. What a fucking waste of money that studio has been. The studio's $90 a month for me. It's not fucking breaking the bank, but when you're doing nothing with it, and also when you're bringing no money in, it starts to sting a little bit. Plus the initial outlay for equipment, that was fucked too. We didn't even fucking do anything with it for the first 6 months. And then the pandemic hit, and you know the fucking rest of the story. It's been a nightmare. So I went down there to record a podcast with the great John Doerr. I wouldn't really go as far to call him great. With the decent John Doerr. With the bearable John Doerr. With John Doerr. And people enjoy this other podcast. It's got fucking listeners. It's called The Oppression Chamber. If you enjoy this, you'll probably enjoy that one. I play a different role on that podcast. I play the role of a conductor. I surround myself in that podcast with people with mental illness who are very funny, and then I try and nudge them in a direction that more masks the mental illness and draws out the funny. That's my role on that podcast. And most of the time I fucking fail at it. But people enjoy it. We've got listeners, but we've never, in the whole history of that fucking podcast, we've never been able to do more than 6 weeks in a row. It'll be like hardcore for 6 weeks, and then we'll take like a 4-month break for no reason. Besides the pandemic, actually, we ended up doing more episodes of the podcast during the pandemic than when there was no pandemic. But the listeners we do have for that one, they're enthusiastic. They love it. But who wants to wait around 6 weeks for a fucking podcast? No one. So they lose faith and fuck off. And I'm trying to explain it to these guys. I'm like, we have to get it out consistently to get people to listen, to get people to care. And it keeps fucking falling on deaf ears. And so today we were meant to record a podcast down at the studio. It was just going to be me and John Doerr, because our other guy, Andrew Roberts, who you've heard me talk about on this podcast before, well, about 4 or 5 weeks ago, there was an unpleasant incident. And so we had to kick him off the podcast, and now he's living in the bush somewhere out of his car. I won't talk about the incident tonight. I'll talk about it on the other podcast. And once it's out on that podcast, I'll come back and talk about it on this. That's the real problem with these comedians. These guys I'm talking about are the funniest guys around as well. There's the squatter guy. There's the Cambo Shaman guy. There's Roberts, who's living in the fucking bush out of his car. Like, they're the funniest dudes, but they can never hold it together long enough for anything good to happen to them. They just blow it up within like 3 weeks, 4 weeks. But anyway, I was meeting Doerr down at the studio, and I got caught in traffic. I got caught at a lights with about 40 cars in front of me, and everyone was turning right. But this light, it would stay green for 2 cars, and then it'd go red again. So it was letting 2 cars at a time through, and it was about a 5-minute wait in between there. So I just got fucking worked. So I was running late. I said to Doerr, I'm running late. I'll be 10 minutes late. And I ended up being about half an hour late. And by the time I got to the studio, he had left. Which is fair enough. I completely understand. I know what he was thinking. I do know what he was thinking. He's like, fuck you, Boyle. I'm not working to your fucking times anymore. Because I used to tell him to get there early when I had no intention of getting there even close to on time. There was a point there where I'd stretch it out to like an hour and 10. So they'd just be sitting around waiting for me. And I promised them, I'm like, I'm not being late anymore. That was the old Boyle. This is the new one. And I ended up being late, and he just left. And so we didn't get to record the podcast. And I was actually angry that he left as well. So I didn't even want to call him back to the studio to record it, because it would have been like, fuck you, idiot. Why did you leave? I was 2 minutes away. But we're going in tomorrow morning to record a fucking podcast for the first time in about 5 or 6 weeks. Go over and listen to them. If you enjoyed this podcast, I think you'll enjoy the other podcast. It's the Oppression Chamber podcast. It's on Spotify. It's different to this one, obviously, but I think it's funny. Anyway, that's not what we're here for today. We're here for Fucked Up Fridays, let's be honest. Everyone loves a Fucked Up Friday story. Everyone loves a degenerate. Everyone loves having a little bit of a laugh at other people's expense. Admit it. I do, we all do. So the Fucked Up Friday story for this week was sent in from, let's make it very generic because the person wants to remain anonymous. So let's call the guy Matty from New South Wales. Could be anywhere in New South Wales, who knows? And if you want to send in a Fucked Up Friday story, just hit me up on social media on Boyle Comedy on Instagram, Facebook and Twitter. Just fucking send one through and I'll read it out. So cheers, Matty, for sending in the story. And here we go, this week's Fucked Up Friday. 16 short years ago, a relative spent some time in Cambodia. There's a little bit of synchronicity for you. On Boyle Breaks History this week, I covered Khmer Rouge. Go listen to that. During this time, he met a lovely Cambodian girl, and they are lovely, and had a little boy. He didn't bet on having another child later on in life, so he decided to go out for a pack of smokes and never come back. That's going to be my play as well. Honey, I'm just going out for some darts. You got a card in next to your bed. Yeah, I'm sick of those old ones. I want to try something new. See the double meaning there? So fast forward to last year, and my cousin's partner was in her ear about meeting her brother with the view to help out financially and put him through school, etc. So my cousin's partner, and I meet up in Cambodia, meet the family, say we're sorry, agree to assist financially, and generally just make the family's life not so shit. Well, that is a fucking nice thing to do, isn't it? Thank God Cambodia is so cheap. I bet you wouldn't have been doing that if it was Switzerland, would you? Was everyone in your family like, look, if we all chuck a tenner in, we could probably put this kid through university. But that is nice, I commend you. I'm sure there's fucking heaps of mixed race babies running around Cambodia with no fucking dad. So no shit, that is fucking cool. The next day I'm feeling really good, so I get on Tinder to find some women wanting to go out on a balmy Cambodian night with yours truly. I don't know if you noticed in Cambodia, but Cambodia is basically Tinder. They should rename the country fucking Tinder. You don't need to go on Tinder in Cambodia. You just walk out the fucking front door. Phnom Penh is hot and sticky, so I've been indulging in the local drop basically all day, which was, from memory, Angkor beer. As in Angkor Wat. Yeah, it is that. I thought it was Khmer Rouge beer. Since I'm a bloody handsome devil, you know he's not when he says that, don't you? We can all agree calling yourself a bloody handsome devil is a fat uncle thing to say. You want to go on the dance floor with this fucking bloody handsome devil? So since he's a handsome devil, a beautiful Indian expat English teacher arranges to meet at a popular spot in town where it was Latin night. Latin night in Cambodia? What is Latin night in Cambodia? Just relax, Cambodia. You don't need to have themed nights. Themed nights are for white people. Cultureless white heathens. So I go off into the night on my own, telling my cousin and partner to meet me there about an hour afterwards so I can get acquainted with said English teacher. Oh, we all know what you're talking about. I meet her in this bar and we retreat to the upstairs to chat more intimately. We order red wine. What the fuck Cambodia is this? This is not the same Cambodia I fucking went to. Latin nights, expat English Indian teachers, red wine. Last time I was in Cambodia, I went to a place called the Heart of Darkness and I was with some English guy and I asked him to try and get me some opium. So he asked the hookers out the front of Heart of Darkness and he must have said something to them because the hookers started beating the fuck out of this guy and I just hopped back into the tuk-tuk. I'm like, well, what can I do? I'm not taking on 44 hookers to save an English guy. So we ordered some red wine, and at this stage I'm just a little bit fucked. Not so wasted, but I can hear regular repartee falling flat. I think I'm slurring. From her body language I can see she's not interested. What do you mean she's not interested in the bloody handsome devil? Fucking bloody handsome devil. So I'm relieved to get a call from my cousin and her partner that they've arrived and they've got in tow half a dozen aunties of my Cambodian cousin. Wrapping up our boring little rendezvous, I then proceed to get fucked up and enjoy my night. I'm having a great time dancing and the wine is flowing and I'm getting real loose. My cousin's partner asked me if I wanted a Zanny. And I go, of course, actually, why not fucking two? So I gobble them down, a big red gulp. From here on out, there are only two snippets of memory. Snippet 1, a large booty of what looks like a South American woman shaking gloriously before my eyes on the dance floor, dropping it side to side, bouncing and just being sexy with her girlfriend. Snippet 2, trying and failing to sit on a bar stool and ordering drinks at some bar. Not the original one, and talking to one Cambodian auntie. On reflection, my body language indicated to me I'm trying it on with this auntie. This is my Cambodian cousin's auntie, so it's family, sort of, but not related. Bro, that's nothing. I give you the all clear on that one. Although I'm pretty lenient on my all clears, I'll give fucking all clears to just about anything. I'm snapped into reality by a loud banging on my door. It's my cousin asking, "Are you alive?" I think I'm registering, but not really, so I just say, "Yeah, what's wrong?" My eyelids are heavy curtains and I have to work to get them up. I turn my sight to my bedroom wall. I blink again to register what I see. Across the wall to the foot of the bed is a smear of blood, finishing off with a well-formed handprint at the end. This is more like it. This is the Cambodia I remember. Blacking out, murdering hookers. I put my hand up to it, and it's my hand. My hands are covered in dry blood. Blood is all over the floor, and the same bloody finger painting is all over the ensuite bathroom. I'm really freaking out at this stage. No fucking shit. Immediately, I think of the second Godfather movie and the senator. Did I kill someone? Surely I'm not capable of that. I'm not ready to deal with that shit right now. That is a rough wake up when you have to ask yourself, am I capable of murder? That's a big night out on the town. You're right, that is a hard question to deal with. I probably would have went back to sleep. So I gingerly come out. My cousin looks super worried. In the hallway is smashed vases and pot plants, soil everywhere, all of which I was advised I did. The piece de resistance was yet to be revealed. In the back bathroom, the toilet had been smashed up. No idea how. And in my blackout, I guess I tried to take a shit, sitting on the broken knife like porcelain pieces and carving a 5-inch hole in my right butt cheek, requiring 12 stitches and a hospital visit. A second asshole. Nice. I went to sleep with this large wound, and luckily it clotted on its own, and it was to the fatty part of my butt. Thank fuck I didn't hit any real blood-carrying parts. The unimpressed Airbnb owner put a new toilet in that day with a fresh $100 US note from me to help. They get shit done in Cambodia quick. This made for an uncomfortable remainder of the trip, but luckily all pharmaceuticals are found over the counter there. But back in Sydney, I had to sit very uncomfortably for the next 2 weeks. I had a GP take out the stitches, but the moron left pieces in there which itched for ages until my charming friend and housemate carefully inspected and removed the remainder of the stitches from my ass. She is a darling, and I was, on this occasion, a complete fuck-up. Learn from this. Just thinking about that wake up with the blood-smeared wall sends shivers down my spine. That is a brutal fucking wake up. And just one last thing, he sent me a photo of the broken toilet, and it was the part that holds the water that you flush. That was smashed to shit. So, I think what he's tried to do when he was fucking hammered was take a shit in the water thing, and he sat on it, and it's fucking cut his ass up. And if that's the case, respect. And that's it for tonight. Thank you, Maddie, for sending in the story. Appreciate it. Great story. That's all for tonight. Have a good weekend, and I'll see ya the fuck later.